communities forward with new infrastructure. It moves things forward for the public, ensuring Australia gets a fair share for its non-renewable resources. It moves things forward for Australians who will look forward to retirement one day with increased superannuation. It moves things forward whether you're a coal miner in the Bowen Basin, a contractor in Karratha, an opal miner in Cooper Pedy or a young worker in Sydney. We've been stuck on this question as a nation for too long. Today, we're moving forward together. Last week, I said we would be seeking consensus on the proposed resources super profits tax. I announced that the government's advertising campaign would cease. I asked the mining industry to do the same, and doing this, I believe, fostered good faith. I'm pleased to announce that we've been able to build on that good faith, and I'm very grateful for the hard work of the Deputy Prime Minister and Treasurer Wayne Swan and Martin Ferguson, the Minister for Resources, both of whom join me today, and I thank them for their work on behalf of the Australian people. Today, we're seeing what happens when people address difficult questions in a spirit of mutual respect and with a shared commitment to move forward. Wayne, Martin and I have spoken to the mining industry leaders frankly and directly throughout the process. Last night we sat down to settle the final agreement, and I can now announce we've reached agreement on the basic structure of minerals taxation for the future. There will be a negotiated profit-based tax regime, but there will be no resources super profits tax. Iron ore and coal will be subject to a new profits-based minerals resource rent tax at a rate of 30%. The uplift rate will be lifted to 7% above the long-term government bond rate. New investment will be expensed immediately, and we've removed the refundability that industry told us they didn't want. The petroleum resource rent tax regime will be extended to cover all oil, gas and coal seam gas projects, onshore and offshore, at the rate of 40%. More than 8 million Australians will benefit from a boost to their superannuation guarantee. And while we were never relying on the resources tax revenues to return the budget to surplus, under these revised arrangements we remain on course to return to surplus in 2013. This will deliver better returns for the resources that all Australians own and that can only be dug up once. It will end uncertainty and division. It will invest a portion of the value of our resources into better superannuation for our people. It will allow us to move forward together as a nation. It will deliver the sustained investment in infrastructure that we need in mining and regional communities around the nation. It will maintain Australia's standing as a competitive and attractive destination for investment and strengthen our economy for the future. And it will enable Australian businesses to grow by cutting taxes for businesses and reducing red tape for small business. For business to flourish, competitive tax rates are essential. It's also essential we have stable and coherent government and a positive basis for trust, and I believe we've established that this week. We know that some parts of the mining industry will still have their criticisms, but I believe we've struck the right balance. It takes industry concerns into account, it focuses on the most profitable resources, and it offers generous arrangements to promote investment and jobs. I'm delighted that last night we were able to sign a heads of agreement with some of our major mining companies. We will now be establishing a policy transition group to consult with industry and advise the government on the implementation of the new mineral resources rent tax and the petroleum resources rent tax. And I'm delighted that Don Argus, former chairman of BHP, has accepted my invitation to chair this process, working alongside Minister Martin Ferguson. Before I pass to the two ministers with me, Wayne and Martin, I want to record that over the weekend The Treasurer and the Deputy Prime Minister was in Toronto, sitting at the table with the leaders of the G20 economies, advancing Australia's interests in important discussions. Just a few hours later, he was at a rather smaller table here in Canberra, once again with sleeves rolled up. And together we have achieved a breakthrough that keeps faith with the government's central policy goal. And that policy goal was that Australians are entitled to a fairer share of the mineral wealth in our grounds. And now we have a way forward for the Australian mining industry and the Australian people, so we can both prosper together, and that is, I think, a great result. With those words, I'm going to turn to Deputy Prime Minister Wayne Swan and then to Martin Ferguson.
All right, we'll leave that press conference there for the moment. That is Prime Minister Julia Gillard announcing